This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hello, pet parents and fur kids. This is Michelle Fern, your host on Best Bets for Pets on Pet Life Radio. Now, if you listen to Best Bets for Pets for a while, you know I'm a big advocate of doggy dental. That said, I also detest it because brushing Nikki and Mr. Z's teeth is always a huge chore. We have Nikki, who dances around and doesn't stay still. He's a little dog, and one of those yappy ones. And then we have Mr. Z, who's a bigger dog, and I don't know, he just hates anything in his mouth, like a toothbrush. So he's always fighting me, and I'm fighting him, and I've tried so many different ways to get him used to it. Nothing works. But what I do love are products that do the work for me. I have a product coming up. You're not going to believe how they discovered it. It's a really cool story, and we'll be right back.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico-Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico-Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico-Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I'd like to introduce Chip Linton. He's the co-founder of Coco Chew's LLC. Welcome, Chip.
Hey there, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, great having you. I'm great. How you doing?
Good. Very excited to be here.
So your product, as I gave a little teaser out there, is for doggy dental. It helps with dogs' teeth, but it's a really kind of unique kind of product, and you discovered it kind of in an interesting way. So tell us about that. How'd you find out?
Sure, yeah. So our products are dog toys that are made from coconut husk. It's that outer fibery stuff that encompasses the shell while it's on the tree. And we actually learned from a few veterinarians a few years ago down on a trip to Hawaii that it's really, really effective in cleaning dogs' teeth. And so the way that we basically found this out was I was visiting a friend of mine, this was probably 5-6 years ago now, and who was living down there at the time. And he picked me up one day at the airport and goes, hey, let's just go straight to the beach. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So we get there and we look around and all of a sudden I'm like, man, there's a lot of dogs chewing on coconuts here. And just kind of, the way a dog would chew on a stick up in New England or, anywhere else, these dogs were chewing on fallen coconuts. And so, you kind of hear coconut everything nowadays and how amazing it is for you. And so we were kind of curious and I, decided to ask some veterinarians down there if this was any good for the dog's teeth. And we actually learned from some vets that, yeah, it was amazing for their teeth, that a lot of their patients down there with some of the cleanest teeth actually did nothing but chew on coconut all day. So we were really curious about it. And we're like, man, if you could just make this into a toy that a dog could kind of play with, it's a pain in the butt to kind of, scrub a dog's teeth with a toothbrush and, wrestle them around and all that stuff. It's much easier if the dog was actually enjoying the process of brushing their teeth. So over time, we decided to, order a bunch of coconuts to my place in Boston, started giving my dogs these, full coconuts. They absolutely loved them. And then over time developed them into a rope toy that, the dog could actually play with. But, as the dog was chewing, it was actively scrubbing their teeth. So that was sort of the brainchild for the whole thing, so to speak.
Well, I think it's a really cool, way to discover a product. It's very organic. And yeah, you're right. Coconut is having its moment, I don't know if kale is still out there or is gone right now. It's all about coconut. Coconut water, coconut this. But I never would have thought coconut husks. I mean, I'm in South Florida and we have coconuts too, but it's not like in Hawaii, I'm sure. And
right.
I've never thought about dogs chewing on coconut husk. Never in a million years would I would have thought that was something that would help their teeth. And then the other thing is, you've checked with vets, different veterinarians, so it's okay for them to chew on this. I mean, some people might think the husks might upset their stomach or something, but it's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So before we actually brought this, whole concept to life, the four of us that are on the team, including myself, we actually met at college at the University of New Hampshire. And our senior year, we had to do kind of a project that was essentially entering a startup competition. And so this was an idea that I had, for Coco Chew, was an idea that I had since my freshman year of college. So decided to run with it for that competition. I told, my current partners now about it. And so as we went through the rounds, for the competition, we started, realizing, hey, this could actually be something that we could bring to fruition. And part of that was a lot of market research and kind of building a business plan. And the biggest question that we had along with everybody was the fibers and, how will the dogs take to them? Can the dogs chew them? Can they consume them? What's the deal with that? So we actually met with over 10 different veterinarians before even starting Coco Chew. And with the first question being, what about the little fibers? Is this okay for them? And unanimously across the board, every veterinarian told us, yeah, you know what, even the smallest dog would have absolutely no trouble passing his little fibers. Now, the best way to describe it is, because it's still not a food, it's not a treat or, something that you actually want your dog to be consuming actively like their food. It's still a toy. But the best way that we were told to think about it from veterinarians was, this is literally coconut bark, right? So if you think about your dog chewing on a stick at home, they're swallowing little pieces of bark and wood, it usually passes right through. But you would never want to come outside and see that your dog has, swallowed and consumed the entire stick, right? So it's the same concept with our toys where in small amounts, the fibers break off literally the same diameter as a human hair almost. They're very, very tiny, small, and they pass right through just fine. But you wouldn't want to come down and find that, your dog has consumed the whole toy as food. It's still a toy, not a treat. It's always our disclaimer. But, it's something that we do get a lot of questions about, how is this an edible toy because it's coconut and, all that stuff. And it's still a toy, meant to be treated as a toy. You always want to watch as your dog is chewing. But as your dog is chewing, they're inherently going to swallow a couple little fibers, and that's absolutely safe and fine. We actually had a lot of vets tell us that, I would prefer to see a dog swallowing pieces of this rather than, a lot of the other toys that we see the dogs in here for in terms of consuming them.
Right, because that's something I think that would be on top of mind for a lot of pet parents. And when you said that, the fibers are very fine, like hair, that I could see not being a problem because dogs do. I mean, when they're chewing any kind of a stick, even a stick treat, some of it is, or like you said, other toys, there's pieces that come off sometimes.
Right,
and
exactly.
Things like that. So how does I'm trying to picture and I'm trying to, maybe you can give a good visual. I know it's the fibers in the coconut or what on the toy scrubbing against your fur kid's teeth.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So essentially it's really as simple as that. It's just the mechanical action of your dog rubbing their teeth against something. In the wild, wolves will chew on bones and sticks and things like that. And just that act of chewing actually helps to maintain their dental health. So dogs are meant to chew, right? They're always trying to chew on things. And, we've learned that as dogs chew on certain things, it's, actively also cleaning their teeth. So what we wanted to do was essentially just replace what they were chewing on with something that would actively brush their teeth. And so, when we learned about coconut husk and its effects on scrubbing a dog's teeth, we learned that it was, no more complicated than just the dog sinking their teeth in between the little fibers. That mechanical rubbing and brushing action against the toy was just actively brushing off and cleaning what was building up there. So, it really is no more simple than that.
Yeah. And as you're talking, I'm visualizing and I'm thinking, I think way back, like couple hundred years ago, or maybe 100, before the toothbrush was even invented, for people or dogs. I think that's what people did. They chewed on sticks to clean their teeth.
Right, exactly. And I mean, it's why you see a lot of dogs as they get into their older years, they stop chewing on toys, they stop playing with toys. And all of a sudden, you kind of see a radical decline in their dental health. And it's all kind of attributes to them just not really using their teeth as much. And, if you think about it, if we never brushed our teeth every day, but we went to the dentist once or twice a year, how sick and unhealthy would we be? How dirty would our mouths be? It's no different for our dogs. They're still chewing on things and God knows what sometimes. But it's still something that, if we don't brush their teeth every day or even on a weekly basis, stuff does just build up there, especially as they do get older and they're not chewing on toys or virtually anything. It's just going unnoticed almost until they get to the vet.
Right. And what I like about it for older dogs is, Mr. Z he's difficult. And I'm sure many pet parents out there have the same battle. Some dogs just don't like anything in their mouth. Even if you brush their teeth as when they were little puppies, they just never get used to it. And that's Mr. Z. And it's always a battle. And so then I give up, and then I try not to give up because that's not being a good pet parent. And then,
right.
We do his once a year and it's fine. But see, now he's 13, so no more once a year. And he did like chewing on the Coco Chews. And it's only been a couple of days. I'm seeing, a couple little improvement there. So I'm very excited because other than that, I just have something to squirt into his mouth, but that can get some plaque off, but it's not the abrasion. Even vets say my vet gave some great advice. He said use gauze. Use gauze on your finger and rub it against his teeth and mouth. But that's the abrasion of trying to, get the little particles, which your Coco Chews do much better because...
Yeah, no, exactly.
I like my fingers, so...
Right. Well, so we actually, that was, the whole idea, again, like I said earlier, was just trying to make the whole process easier. Keeping our dog's health in check, especially from a dental standpoint, shouldn't be a chore, for either us or the dog. And we started, I have a 12-year-old lab now who, at this point, if it's not food, she's just like, get away from me. I don't even, I'm not interested in it unless I can eat it. And, so, she didn't take to the Coco Chews when I first started making them that well. But, what we started doing actually was we were soaking them in coconut water. You can do the same thing with chicken broth, beef stock, even regular water. After that, you freeze it for a couple hours, kind of get nice and bone solid in the fridge. And especially, kind of springtime, summertime, it's a little tougher in the winter. But on a hot day, that's an awesome way to kind of get them enticed into chewing it. Adds a little bit of flavor. And of course, as they're chewing on it, it's still mechanically scrubbing and brushing off what's building up there. So, we found that really worked for a lot of dogs that weren't into chewing, or, dogs that were a little bit older, that used to chew, that didn't chew anymore. So that's a technique that we kind of pass along to people, as a little tip.
I like that tip. It's kind of, I'm listening, I'm going, yeah, you kind of fake them out,
Exactly.
So Coco Chews, I think it's an amazing product, and I love the background story, how they came about. Very interesting and very, organic and observant. So really cool. So Chip, where can people buy Coco Chews for their kids, for their pooches?
Absolutely. Yeah. So you can get them at our website. It's just, CocoChewLLC.com. You can also get them in a lot of different retail stores around the country. If you go to our website, we have a store locator there, or you can just type in your zip code and your closest retail location with the toys will just pop up right there.
And then, there's a lot of talk about different products being made in the U.S. or how well they're made. So where are Coco Chews made?
Absolutely. So we used to make them by hand in our basements. We were just getting kind of big bundles of the coconut rope, kind of like a big ball of yarn, sent to us, and we clean that off and just cut them and weave them ourselves. But now we actually have them made over in the Philippines. Myself and one of my partners, we flew over there a year ago and met with a company and have them made there now. It's a 100% sustainable farming certified company over there. And they're actually a social business as well, which is really cool. they actually take their gross profits at the end of the year and reinvest them back in the coconut farmers they work with. Provide them with education, housing, things like that. So it's a social effort that we feel really proud of. It's something that we're kind of giving back to them. We absolutely fell in love with the country when we went over there. And, it's something that we're, like I said, very, very happy about. So, yeah, we have them made over there. The toys are literally just pulled straight off the tree and woven up. They're chemical free. They're heat treated before coming over here, so there's no chemicals involved. Chemical never touches the toy. So yeah, it's exciting for us. It's exciting for us to also be able to help out with that effort.
That just adds to the great story of Coco Chews, I think. That they're very cool. And so people can go to CocoChewsLLC.com and find a store or place an order. Chip, it's been so great having you on Best Bets for Pets to talk about Coco Chews LLC. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very, very much for having me. This was great.
Wow, what a great product. Who knew? It's all about coconuts, right? Mr. Z loves the Coco Chews, but he does get bored, so I'm going to try that beef broth tip that Chip was talking about. And I have to say, I love that Mr. Z can brush his own teeth, and I don't have to worry about a finger getting chomped. So, and Nikki likes it too. He's too wiggly to brush teeth. I don't know. Or maybe it's me. I don't know. But I love using Coco Chews to brush their teeth. And I just want to give thanks to my guest Chip for coming on Best Bets for Pets. Thanks to Mr. Z and Nikki for enjoying their Coco Chews and brushing their own teeth. And thanks to my producer, Mark Winter, for making me and my guests sound great. And most of all, thank you, pet parents, pet friends, fur kids, for listening to Best Bets for Pets for, we're over 8 years now. Wow. And over 200, I think we're like 225 shows. Wow. So thanks for listening. I'm going to seek out new and interesting products for you coming up on an episode soon.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.